On the morning of November 14, 1948, the Atlantic Ocean was calm in a way sailors distrusted. The sky was pale, almost colorless, and the water stretched endlessly, smooth as cold glass. To the crew of the merchant vessel Silver Dawn, this calm felt unnatural, like the ocean was holding its breath. At 7:20 hours, the radio operator on Silver Dawn picked up a faint signal. It was not a distress call in the usual sense. No panic, no screams, just a short transmission, broken by static. Anyone receiving? This is the Aurelia. We are drifting. Engines silent. Crew unavailable. Then nothing. The name Aurelia sent a chill through the bridge. She was a cargo ship that had vanished 3 days earlier, carrying medical supplies and machinery from Lisbon to Halifax. 37 crew members were on board. No storms had been reported. No enemy activity. No reason, at least on paper, for her to disappear. Captain Henry Walsh ordered a course change immediately. What the crew of Silver Dawn would find later that day would become one of the most disturbing maritime mysteries of the 20th century, one that remains unsolved after 77 years. A ship that should not exist. At 1640, through a veil of light fog, the silhouette of a ship appeared on the horizon. "She's just sitting there," one sailor whispered. The Aurelia floated motionless. Her hull was intact, no smoke from the funnel, no visible damage. Her lifeboats hung in their davits, untouched. Flags fluttered weakly in the breeze. Captain Walsh signaled her repeatedly. No response. As Silver Dawn drew closer, details became unsettling. Rust streaks marked the hull, but fresh rust, as if the ship had aged years in days. One of the portholes was shattered. A rope ladder dangled into the sea, swaying gently. Still, no movement. Walsh assembled a boarding party of 6 men. None of them spoke as they crossed the narrow gap between the ships. The deck of echoes. The moment their boots touched the deck of Aurelia, silence became oppressive. Not the peaceful quiet of open sea, but a hollow, heavy silence, as though sound itself had been absorbed. The air smelled faintly of ozone and burnt oil. "Crew of the Aurelia," Walsh called. "This is Captain Walsh of the Silver Dawn. Respond if you can hear us." Only the wind answered. The deck was cluttered, but not chaotic. A coil of rope lay neatly beside a winch. A mug of coffee sat on a crate, cold and half full. A deck log rested open, its pages fluttering. Below deck, a door creaked open slowly, by itself. One sailor crossed himself. Inside the ship, the interior was worse. Lights flickered weakly, powered somehow by emergency batteries that should have been dead. Footsteps echoed unnaturally, as if the ship were amplifying every movement. In the mess hall, plates of food sat untouched, mold just beginning to bloom. Chairs were pushed back as though people had stood up in a hurry, but not in panic. No blood, no signs of struggle. In the engine room, the mystery deepened. The engines were cold, completely inactive, not damaged, not flooded, just silent. Tools lay scattered on the floor, including a wrench bent at an impossible angle, as if twisted by enormous force. The chief engineer's log was found nearby. The last entry read, the 12th of November, 2340. Engines failed simultaneously. No mechanical cause. Electrical surge felt throughout hull. Compass spinning. Crew reporting nausea, ringing in ears. "I fear." The sentence ended abruptly. The bridge was the most disturbing place of all. The captain's chair was occupied. But the man sitting in it was not alive. Captain Luis Moreno of the Aurelia sat upright, hands resting calmly on the armrests. His eyes were open. His expression was neutral, not fearful, not pained. He showed no signs of injury. But when the ship's doctor examined him, he froze. "Sir," he said quietly, "he's been dead for at least 2 days." Rigor mortis had passed, yet the body showed no decomposition, as if time itself had stalled aboard the ship. Nearby, the ship's compass spun endlessly, clicking softly as it rotated without stopping. The missing crew. 36 crew members were gone. No bodies, no lifeboats missing, no messages explaining evacuation, no sign that anyone had gone overboard. Even stranger, personal belongings remained. Wallets, wedding rings, letters. One bunk held a photograph of a young child, carefully propped against a pillow. It was as if the crew had simply vanished, leaving behind echoes of their presence. Walsh ordered a full sweep. In the infirmary, they found something that would later be classified and sealed by authorities. On the wall, written in shaky handwriting, possibly blood, though tests would later prove inconclusive, were the words. The sound called U.S. No one could explain what it meant. The tow that never was. By nightfall, Walsh decided to tow the Aurelia to the nearest port. But as cables were attached, something went wrong. The sea began to vibrate. Not violently, but rhythmically. A low hum rose from beneath the water, felt more than heard. The metal deck seemed to tremble underfoot. The compass needles on Silver Dawn began spinning wildly. Then, without warning, the lights aboard Aurelia went out. At the same moment, the tow cable snapped. Not frayed, not broken, cleanly severed. A dense fog rolled in, faster than any natural weather system Walsh had ever seen. Within seconds, visibility dropped to zero. The crew scrambled back aboard Silver Dawn. When the fog lifted 10 minutes later, the Aurelia was gone. No debris, no wake, no trace, just empty ocean. Official explanations. The incident was immediately classified by multiple governments. The official report, released years later, claimed the Aurelia likely suffered a mass psychological event, leading the crew to abandon ship and perish at sea. The disappearance after tow failure was attributed to severe weather conditions. But sailors who were there knew better. There was no storm, no waves, no explanation for a ship vanishing silently in calm waters. The witnesses, all 6 members of the boarding party, were interviewed extensively. Within 5 years, one died in a psychiatric hospital, repeating the phrase, "It's still humming." 2 disappeared, one in the North Sea, another during a coastal ferry crossing. One committed suicide, leaving a note that read only, "The sound never stopped." The remaining 2 refused all interviews and lived in isolation until their deaths. Captain Walsh resigned and never sailed again. In his personal journal, discovered after his death in 1972, he wrote, "I believe we encountered something not meant for us. The ship was not empty. It was listening." Theories that terrify. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged. 1. Experimental weapons. Some believe the Aurelia encountered a secret post-war naval experiment, perhaps a low-frequency sonic weapon capable of disorienting or killing humans without damaging structures. But no government has ever admitted to such tests in that region. 2. Electromagnetic anomaly. Others point to unusual magnetic readings recorded by Silver Dawn. Could a rare electromagnetic phenomenon have disrupted human nervous systems, causing paralysis or sudden death? This still doesn't explain the missing bodies, or the vanishing ship. 3. Infrasound hypothesis. Infrasound, low-frequency sound waves below human hearing, can cause nausea, hallucinations, panic, and even heart failure. Some scientists suggest an unknown natural source beneath the ocean may have emitted powerful infrasound, affecting the crew. But again, where did they go? 4. Something else. The most unsettling theory is also the hardest to dismiss. That the crew did not die. That they were taken. By what, or where, no one can say. A modern echo. In 2019, a deep-sea research drone malfunctioned near the last known coordinates of the Aurelia. Before losing power, it transmitted one final audio clip. Scientists reviewing the data noticed something disturbing. Beneath the sound of water and static was a low, rhythmic hum. At regular intervals, it pulsed, almost like a heartbeat. When the audio was slowed down and enhanced, a technician reportedly whispered, "It sounds like a voice." The clip was sealed. Officially, it does not exist.